Are there any other votes? Announce the results.
Ayes 109, noes 0.
The bill is passed.
Assembly 443A, calendar number 34, Mr. Gottfried, an act to amend the public health law and the insurance law.
The bill is laid aside.
Assembly 446, calendar number 35, Mr. Gottfried, an act to amend the public health law.
The bill is laid aside.
Assembly 458, calendar number 36, Mr. Gant, an act to amend the vehicle and traffic law.
Read the last section.
This act shall take effect January 1st.
Clerk will record the vote. Mr. Hasty is coming up. Are there any other votes? Announce the results.
Ayes 116, noes 0.
The bill is passed. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know that there are a number of resolutions, including the one that I mentioned earlier, honoring the life of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. If we could take up housekeeping immediately and then move to those resolutions, sir.
Certainly. On a motion by Mr. Lenthal, page 26, calendar number 134, bill number 2953, amendments are received and adopted. On a motion by Ms. Samotis, page 37, calendar number 195, bill number 4959A, amendments are received and adopted. At the request of the sponsor, the following bills are committed back as follows. Sponsor, Ms. Rosenthal, calendar number 266, bill number 7054, Committee on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. Sponsor, Ms. Rosenthal, calendar number 267, bill number 7055, Committee on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. Pursuant to Rule 3, Section 2, the following bills are committed back to the Committee on Insurance at the request of the Chair. Calendar number 54, bill number 1178B, introduced by Ms. Gunther. Calendar number 166, bill number 4036A, introduced by Mr. Quart. Calendar number 169, bill number 4172, introduced by Mr. Skoufis. Calendar number 180, bill number 4458, introduced by Mr. Skoufis. I'm sorry. 294, bill number 7537 by Mr. Kaminsky. Calendar number 296, bill number 7545B by Mr. Crespo. Calendar number 309, bill number 7707 by Ms. Peoples-Stokes. And calendar number 332, bill number 8100 by Mr. Crespo.
Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, if we could ask folks to take their seats. I know that I'm sure that a number of members want to be heard on the resolution honoring the life of Dr. King.
Legislative resolution, the clerk will read.
Resolution number 901. Mr. Hasty, legislative resolution commemorating the observance of the 31st annual Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the state of New York on January 18, 2016.
Mr. Barron.
Thank you. I rise to say that Dr. Martin Luther King has been frozen in history. Frozen in history to I Have a Dream in 1963, because that is a comfort zone for many in our nation. But Dr. King evolved from having a dream in 63 to a radical vision in 68. It was Dr. Martin Luther King in 1968 that said, perhaps I'm integrating into a burning house. It was Dr. King that said there should be an equitable distribution of wealth, and perhaps America should move toward a democratic socialism. It was Dr. King who said that there should be a radical rearrangement of the social, political, and economic order of America. But that's the Dr. King they don't want you to know about. The radical Dr. King, who in 1968 was leading a poor people's campaign that caused the then FBI J. Edgar Hoover, leader, to do more surveillance on Martin Luther King than the Black Panther Party and Stokely Carmichael, because Martin Luther King wanted to address poverty. He was going to Washington in '68 to set up Resurrection City, and he was staying there, not another speech like these civil rights leaders do today. Martin Luther King is turning in his grave to see civil rights leaders marching and making speeches and uniting with people in power who are diametrically opposed to everything that Dr. King was about. So when we do this budget process, if you want to be like Dr. King, then make them put their money where their mouth is on poverty, because that's what he lived and died for. Dr. King said, "Our lives begin to end when we are silent on the things that matter." Dr. King said that there's a hot place in hell for those who are neutral in times of moral conflict. What about that, Dr. King? And for those who say it's not the time to do this and not the place to do that, Dr. King said it is always the right time to do what is right. So when I honor Dr. King, we honor the best in us today. When we honor Dr. King, we honored one who loved America so much that he wanted to see it radically change, so that the masses of our people can live off of the abundance and wealth of this nation and not the few at the top. That's the Dr. King who had a dream in '63, but a radical vision in '68. We honor you, Dr. King.
Mr. Mosley on the resolution.
Speaker, on the resolution, I'd like to thank the Speaker and our body for allowing us to remember Dr. King as we celebrated his birthday over the weekend. But his life was filled with trials and tribulations, as most of us know. And as he fought for economic and social justice, there was a point in time in his career where he was asked, "What is integration to you, Dr. King?" Now, many of us might think what integration is who sits next to us in a classroom, or where are we allowed to sit on a bus, or where are we allowed to sit at a lunch counter. But Dr. King so pointedly answered the question by saying that integration is the sharing of the responsibility of power and resources. The responsibility is not conveyed from one person to another, or from one group to another, that we all have a shared responsibility to distribute power and resources to our fellow man. So on this day in which we celebrate and pay homage to Dr. King, let us not fail to recognize that ultimately he lost his life for that notion of shared responsibility of economics and of resources. So as Dr. King has been often said, that he said that among people of like minds in small settings, we are, first of all, servants of all. We shall transcend all. I think and I hope that as we progress and matriculate through this budget process, we take heed to those notions and heed to those words and heed to the memory and the standards by which Dr. King lived by, not merely just by his dream or his rhetoric or what he lost his life. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, on the resolution.
Ms. Robinson on the resolution.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I stand today, as I have in the past years, to commemorate the Assembly's resolution saluting Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Over the weekend, there were various remembrances that were held throughout the Brooklyn community and the city and the state of New York. As I watched the various programs and documentaries highlighting his accomplishments and others, I was saddened especially to note that initiatives that forced Plessy versus Ferguson, which said education was to be separate but equal, but was not a reality for the children of that time. Then we had Brown versus Board of Education that supposedly ended segregated schools, but has not. I focus on education this afternoon because this is the greatest accomplishment that one can achieve, but it is not being realized by our children. Parents of all generations, whether they were born on the shores of the United States or came from other parts of the Americas and the world, there was a focus on education. And this is the achievement, but it is not being realized by our children. The children in one of the documentaries was asked, do you have a brick building? The response was no. Do you have indoor toilet facilities? The response was no. Do you have running water? The response was no. While we have these things now, why have we not been able to meet to realize the dream of Dr. King and others? Our children are still struggling to achieve, to be educated in mind, body, and spirit. I pray that as we move forward in this legislative session, that we would be able to provide for the resources that our children need to be able to be successful. We have continuously, we place resources in the budget, but there's something that's systematically wrong within the system that our children are still struggling. I pray that as we move forward through the session, that we will be able to provide our children with the resources and the help that they need to be able to be successful. Thank you.
Mr. Scartatos on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of joining my colleagues in support of this resolution that recognizes the life and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, because the man was a man of God first and a humanitarian. This great American civil rights leader set out to change the ethos of America, the way Americans thought about other people, and in the process, he truly changed the world. I know his influence and his inspiration to the people of South Africa because I saw it firsthand while I was interning at the United Nations, and I was doing my work at the Center Against Apartheid. And I believe the teachings of Dr. King inspire the people of South Africa to rise and overthrow the racist government of South Africa. As a child growing up in a distant land, I had heard of this great American hero who was fighting for social, economic, and political justice, not only for Americans, but I think for everyone, not just Black Americans, but I think for everyone. But what is important is his choice of weapons, Mr. Speaker. He did not fight this war with guns and violence and hate. No, he fought this war with peace, peaceful demonstration, and love, and tolerance, and cooperation, and collaboration. Those were his weapons. His weapons, the teachings of our Lord Jesus Christ, and of course, the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi and his success in India. Those were his weapons, Mr. Speaker. So I wonder, what would Dr. King would say today to those who are inspired to be presidents and say, we are going to make America great again? I wonder what he would say. I think he would say, you can't make America great again by advocating hate. You can't make America great again by dividing people and insulting people. You can't make America great again by investing resources in building 21st century prison cells rather than classrooms of the 21st century. And you can't make America great again in a world of economic interdependence by going it alone, always going it alone, rather than cooperating and collaborating with nations with common interests. After all, we are economically interdependent. So how is it that we can hold the entire world in our own hands? It's the kind of a thing that is unsustainable, Mr. Speaker, and the kind of thing that has brought down the fall of empires. So we should rethink our international approach to things. But, Mr. Speaker, a great deal has been done since Martin Luther King's speech, I Have a Dream. But I think a great deal remains to be done. Of course, his dream remains a work in progress. And that is true because only yesterday, Mr. Speaker, only yesterday, we finally passed the Women's Equality Act, actually went into effect. So today, as we honor the life and legacy of Dr. King, yes, indeed, let us redouble our efforts to live up to his dream for all people, New Yorkers, this nation, and the people around the world yearning for freedom. Thank you.